The ancient Egyptians worshipped at least 1,500 gods and goddesses. Some of these, such as the mummified god of the dead, Osiris, and the goddess of magical healing, Isis, are well known today. Others are more obscure. So how much do you know about Egypt's forgotten deities? Here are 8 lesser-known gods and goddesses. Like, share, subscribe and click that notification bell. Number 1. Taweret.
Welcome, gentle travelers, to the realm of the Duat.
It's Taweret, goddess of women and children.
At first sight, the goddess Taweret, the great female one, appears to be composed of randomly selected animal parts. She has the body and head of a pregnant hippopotamus standing on its hind legs, the tail of a crocodile, and the limbs of a lioness, topped, occasionally, by a woman's face. Her mouth lolls open to reveal rows of dangerous-looking teeth, and she often wears a long wig. We might find this combination of fierce animals and false hair frightening, but the women of ancient Egypt regarded Taweret as a great comfort, as she was able to protect them during childbirth by scaring away the evil spirits who might harm either the mother or the baby. This made her extremely popular, so that although she did not have a grand temple, her image was displayed on walls, beds, headrests and cosmetic jars in many private homes, and she even appears on palace walls. Number 2. Bes. Bes was another god who brought comfort and protection to mothers and children. A part comical, part sinister dwarf with a plump body, prominent breasts, bearded face, flat nose, and protruding tongue, Bes might be either fully human, or half animal, usually lion. He might have a mane, a lion's tail, or wings. He often wears a plumed headdress and carries either a drum or tambourine, or a knife. Bes offered a welcome protection against snakes. But his primary role was as a dancer and musician who used his art to frighten away bad spirits during the dangerous times of childbirth, childhood, sex, and sleep. His image decorated bedrooms of all classes, and we can also see him, either tattooed or painted, on the upper thigh of dancing girls. Number 3. Neith. Neith is a warrior or a hunter. Human form and bald, she wears a crown and carries a bow and arrows. Her linen sheath dress is so tight that, in an age before Lycra, she would have had difficulty moving around the battlefield. Her title, Mother of the Gods, identifies her with the creative force present at the beginning of the world, and it is possible that she is credited with inventing childbirth. On the wall of the Temple of Khnum at Esna, in southern Egypt, we see Neith emerging from the Primeval waters as a cow goddess who creates land by simply saying the words, "Let this place be land for me." Number 4. The Aten. If Taweret seemed to have too many body parts, the god known simply as the Aten, or the sun disk, does not seem to have enough. The Aten is a bodiless, faceless sun that emits long rays tipped with tiny hands. He hangs in the sky above the royal family, offering them the Ankh, symbol of life. As he has no known mythology, we can say very little more about him. This apparently dull deity inspired such devotion in Pharaoh Akhenaten, that he abandoned the traditional gods, closed their temples and built a new capital city which he named Horizon of the Aten, modern Amarna, dedicated to the Aten. Had a private citizen decided to worship just one god, there would have been no problem. But Akhenaten, as pharaoh, was expected to make offerings to all of Egypt's gods. His decision to abandon the traditional rituals was seen as very dangerous, as surely the old gods would get angry. Not long after his death, the pantheon was restored by Tutankhamun. As the old temples reopened, the Aten sank back into obscurity. Number 5. Sekhmet.
Sekhmet, what's the meaning of this?
I hope you enjoyed my little show.
Many of us are familiar with Hathor, the gentle cow-headed sky goddess associated with motherhood, nurturing and drunkenness. Few of us realize that Hathor has an alter ego. When angry, she transforms into the Sekhmet, the powerful one, an uncompromising fire-breathing lioness armed with an arsenal of pestilences and plagues, and the ability to burn Egypt's enemies with the fierce heat of the sun. Sekhmet was a ruthless defender of her father the pharaoh, and this together with her skill with a bow and arrow, caused her to become closely associated with the army. When the sun god, Re, learned that the people of Egypt were plotting against him, he sent Sekhmet to kill them all. When he changed his mind, and determined to save the people, he had a lot of trouble stopping the killing. Sekhmet was not entirely vicious, however. As mistress of life, she could cure all the ills that she inflicted, and her priests were recognized as healers with a powerful magic. Number 6. Khepri. Khepri, the one who comes into being, is the morning sun. He is usually shown in the form of a beetle, although he might also be a beetle-headed man, or a beetle-headed falcon. He is a divine version of the humble scarab beetle whose habit of pushing around a large ball of dung made the ancients imagine a huge celestial beetle rolling the ball of the sun across the sky. Hidden within the scarab beetle's dung ball were eggs that eventually hatched, crawled out of the ball and flew away. Observing this, the Egyptians jumped to the conclusion that beetles were male beings capable of self-creation. This enviable ability to regenerate made the scarab one of Egypt's most popular amulets, used by both the dead and the living. Although Khepri did not have a temple, he was often depicted alongside Egypt's other gods in the royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Number 7. Re-Nenutit. Re-Nenutit was a cobra goddess. The Egyptian cobra can grow to be 9 feet long and can, when angry or threatened, raise a third of its body from the ground, and expand its hood, cervical ribs. This made the female cobra a useful royal bodyguard. A rearing cobra, the uraeus, was worn on the royal brow. Cobra amulets were included in mummy wrapping to protect the dead, and a painted pottery cobra, placed in the corner of a room, was known to be an effective means of warding off evil ghosts and spirits. Number 8. Geb. In most mythologies, the fertile earth is classed as female. In ancient Egypt, however, the earth was male. Geb was an ancient and important earth god who represented both the fertile land and the graves dug into that land. For this combination of attributes, and for his prowess as a healer, he was both respected and feared. He usually appears as a reclining man beneath the female sky. His naked green body often shows signs of his impressive fertility, and he may have grain growing from his back. Alternatively, he might appear as a king wearing a crown. In animal form, Geb might be a goose, or a man wearing a goose on his head, or a hare, or he might form part of the crew of the sun boat that sails across the sky each day. Thank you for listening. Let us know what you think. Also, remember to like, share, subscribe and click that notification bell.